Chef Anthony here from Dawn's Appliances. I'm going to go over what is true convection today. Really talk about that and the kind of the cooking features with it and kind of give you some tips along the way. If you're new to convection, this could really help you out. Even if you're a pro to convection, just a little food for thought on how these ovens work for right now. So let's open the oven door, swing this open, and when we talk about the inside here, the cavity, really the true convection is going to be the heat source in the very back. So there's a broiler element, and then there's a hidden bake element in this model, but the true convection really comes from the back. There's vents here, venting here, and that fan is really going to push, the air towards the glass. And if there's a heat source, so there's another heating element behind there. So that heats up, and really the fan turns and pushes that air around the oven cavity. And true convection really gives us even heat throughout the oven. So, that whole back is really pushing that air, pushing it through. So think about, the items that you're making. True convection really is ideal for multi-rack or multi-use cooking. So 3 trays of cookies is your ideal fan, or if you're making like a casserole and you're doing a thing of breadsticks, or anytime there's really, in my opinion, more than one item in this oven, you'll go true convection. Being that if I have true convection in my mind at 350 degrees, that means this rack will be 350. That means the next rack up would be 350 and vice versa. So it's really the most even heat you're gonna receive in your oven settings, okay? As opposed to convection bake, whereas we're dealing with a little different of the heating element. So when we're using convection bake, we're going to be using the bottom bake element and the convection fan. So picture those two heat sources coming together. So you're getting a little bit of that bottom heat. Whereas if we did 3 trays of cookies, they would be uneven because the bottom rack would be receiving more heat than the top rack, if that makes sense to everyone. But convection bake is still a great, useful tool. You could make, cakes and pies, a casserole, brownie pan, things like that. I mean, you could still use your convection bake, but anytime, and I stress this, anytime you're using more than one item is really where the true convection or the multi-convection, depending on which model you have, they're all the same. They call it just convect. Some call it true convection, or some say multi-convection. It's really all the same terminology. It's just different brand marketing for whatever brand you're carrying. But that needs to say that's really where that goes. The rule of thumb, though, and I want to touch on this too. Some people say, oh, chef, I used true convection, still didn't turn out. But the converting the recipe is another one. So if we're at 350 degrees for cookies is the standard. For bake 350 for 12 to 15 minutes. Now in true convection, we're going to drop that original recipe 25 degrees. So it'll be 325 for 12 to 15. So we convert the recipe to convection. So, your grandmother's recipe, my grandmother's recipe didn't have convection. I mean, it just wasn't available at the time. So, depending on, how old you are. But now the converted recipes we're really dropping anything 25 degrees, anything over an hour, okay? So, or under an hour, excuse my French. Under an hour, we're dropping it 25 degrees. Over an hour, we're still keeping the same temperature, but we're dropping 25 minutes off the back end. That is our 25 and 25 method and our 25-25 rule. Usually 99.9% of the time, if you follow those methods, you should really achieve the same results as you would in regular bake. Actually a little bit better because we got that oven cavity moving around, okay? So hope this helps you understand true convection and really, when to use it and, how to use it more efficiently in your everyday home. Thank you so much.